What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. Guys, let's talk about Hollywood's latest exercise in predictive programming. That would be the film Civil War. I had a chance to see this yesterday, and let me tell you, this is a hell of a movie to have out during an election year. It is one of those movies that does not allow you to blink. It makes you think. It tells the story of America on the brink. And man, does that stink. We're going to get into this. But first, let's talk about the plot of this. I'm going to read this to you. Civil War is a dystopian war film. It's written and directed by Alex Garland. The film stars Christian Dunst, Wagner Moura, and Kaylee Spaney, along with Stephen McKinley Henderson. And it follows a team of journalists who travel across the United States during a rapidly escalating Second American Civil War, which has engulfed the nation. Now, this takes place in the near future, and a rapidly escalating multi-party civil war engulfs the United States, which has become a dystopian dictatorship under its president, who is serving his third term. Renowned and hardened photojournalist Lee Smith rescues Jesse, a young photographer who idolizes Lee, from a bombing in New York City. Wow, okay, so that's quite a setup, and what they do from there is they embark and they engage in a road trip, a happy little road trip with their two colleagues. That would be Jesse's partner, Joel, and the wise old mentor, which would be, Sammy. Okay, so his name is Sammy. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get to Washington, D.C. before the Civil War people get there. The people who are rising up against the government, which is everybody at this point. They're trying to get there to have one last interview with the president before he meets his ultimate fate. Now, this movie, man, let me tell you something. People, I see this movie as a warning. Right? Because people talk about Civil War all the time. If you're on social media, you see people all the time talking about, is America heading for a civil war? Should we be heading towards a civil war? Unfortunately, what you see online, a lot of times people are trying to frame this in a racial setting. This movie wisely doesn't do that, because I don't believe that it would be that way in nature anyway. There are so many different lines that's drawn in this country now. Race is just one of them. We got religious, we got sexual, we got gender, ideological. The lines of division are thick in America right now, and that's very ironic considering we're supposed to be the United States. So this movie takes the stance where you're just showing the realities of what a civil war would look like, and I thought that I had been desensitized to these images because we play war games all the time. We play Call of Duty and things like that, and I'm just like, okay, we've seen these images before, people shooting guns, people being shot up, but let me tell you something. The way this movie is shot, the way that it's filmed, I wasn't ready for this, man. This shit, it hit me in the gut, all right? Because there comes a time in this movie when you're realizing, oh my God, this is happening. And it's happening in America. This is happening on locales that I know, that I see, on streets that look familiar to me. And people who shouldn't be are killing each other with abandon. Oh my, we can't have this happen. That's what you're thinking. How could this happen? But you're seeing this as they go from one setting to the next. You see white nationalists, you see snipers, you see all of this stuff, people executing other people on sight just because they speak with an accent. It's terrible, man. And the movie is a war movie on two levels, all right? Because you see what's going on with the actual physical war. And then there's a war that's going on inside of its main character, which would be Lee, who's played expertly, beautifully by Kristen Dunst. Man, did I sleep on her. I had no idea she could be as powerful as she is. But she's got so much going on behind her eyes, so much going on in her face. And what it is that she herself is seriously going through a crisis because she's a war journalist, guys. And if you're anything like me, you've always wondered about war journalists because you see the pictures that they take or the videos and you're like, how could they do that? How can they take pictures of people being executed, people dying, people dead, and know that they didn't help, but they just took pictures? But this gives you a little bit of a look inside of a character like that because she actually speaks to that, where because this is happening on American soil, she is going through a crisis because she says that what she has done in her life, all of the pictures she's taken, all of the death that she's captured, she has rationalized that in her mind by saying to herself that she's doing this as a warning to America, to a warning of, to the world, like what can happen to your peaceful society if you let it go, a warning. So to see this happening in America is bringing it home to her that it's all been for nothing. All of that rationalization that she did, that she did this for a reason, it was for nothing because it's happening anyway in front of her. People are dying. People are getting killed. And she's really starting to slowly lose it, and at the same time, she's conflicted about bringing young Jessie with them. And young Jessie, the actress who plays her, which would be Kaylee Spaney, also amazing young actor. She does an incredible job because she's also going through a transformation as well. Because when she starts, you can tell she's not ready for it. And Lee tells her, you don't know what you're getting into. I don't want you to come with us. But since her partner, Joel, says that she's going with them, she reluctantly allows Jessie to tag along. But she tells Jessie, I'm not responsible for you. When you start to freak out because of the stuff that you're going to see, don't come running to me. But they still end up drawn to each other. Lee still ends up feeling protective of her because she reminds her of herself back in the day when she was still idealistic, before the things that she has seen has come crashing down on her. So with Jessie, you start to see that. You start to see how it must have been for Lee when she was coming up. Because the funny thing and the ironic thing about this is that as Lee starts to unravel, you start to see Jessie slowly start to lose that naivete. She's starting to do things instinctively that Lee would have done, but Lee is starting to fall back because she's like, who am I? What am I? Is there anything left of me that is human before all of this stuff started? So it's a very, very interesting dynamic to see. And at some point, Jessie asks Lee the question because she's watching Lee take these pictures of dying people. And she does ask her, would you photograph me if that were me getting shot and killed and dead or dying? And Lee just says to her, what do you think? And as you might imagine with any well-written movie and film, this question does get answered by the end in a gut-wrenching, powerful, powerful scene. And I'm not going to give you any spoilers about that. But this movie, man, it really, really hit me. It really hit me, and it gave me a lot. It's just like any good hit that you take. When you first take it, you're like numb. But then after you watch it, you're like, ooh, wow, oh my God. And it sticks with you, man. I would have to recommend this movie. Like, I really feel that it's a timely movie to have because I think people are really not thinking clearly when they think and they talk about Civil War like so flippantly. Civil War, we're heading towards a Civil War. We're going to get those people, and we're going to be right. But when you see it, you realize nobody is right for something like this. If something like this happens in America, if Civil War ever happens, we all lose. You think you might have got rid of those people, but in the end, what have you lost of yourself? And this movie brings it home. You just think but you don't, man. You don't. I could go on and on about this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to give you my rating here. You guys know that I have a rating of 0 to 4 flushes. Okay, if I give something 0 flushes, it means that, hey, no shit, man. This was a classic. This had nothing that I would change about it. It was great. And if I give it 4 flushes, it means it was full of shit. Miss it. Don't bother with it. And anything in between, of course, it goes back and forth. But this movie, I would give 0 flushes, man. It was a strong movie. It had a very, very powerful supporting cast. The character of Joel was amazing. He had some incredibly powerful scenes, man. And also, I would give a shout out also to the guy who plays Sammy, Stephen McKinley Henderson, the older gentleman, the mentor guy. He brings in an element of wisdom and caution, to this for them, and guidance. It was an incredible movie, guys. I don't know. It's like there's nothing more I can say about this without spoiling it. But did you see it? Are you going to see it? I hope you do, so you can bring it back here and we can have something to talk about. There are so many different ways that you could look at this. So I do look forward to hearing your input on this. All right, guys, that's it. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all of your support. As usual, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on. And God bless America.